Good evening, everyone. So, we got a lot of people here. So, how many people we got here are like permanent residents of Spain? Who are like living here full time?
Full time?
Yeah.
More or less. Yeah.
Okay, so we got a lot of people living here full time. So, how many of you have had one of those, traditional Spanish cultural experiences, like going to like flamenco dancing, or hearing a little music? Anybody had one of those? All right, so we got some people. Or maybe you had another Spanish traditional experience, like you got some nice food, like salmoreja or some good paella. We got some people who got that. Or maybe you had an experience like going to Ibiza or Valencia or Puerto del Sol and getting herpes. Well, I had a very different traditional Spanish experience. First, I threw a chair on the floor. And after I picked it up, I managed to get fucked over by bureaucracy. I really feel myself Spanish after that, because Iberdrola somehow shut my power off twice by mistake. Twice they shut my power off by mistake. So when I go there to get it solved, the guy's like, "Oh yeah, your power will be back on tomorrow." So I go back the next day, my power's still not on. He's just like, "Well, your power's back on." I'm like, "No, it isn't." "Well, then we can't fix it." I'm like, "What do you mean you can't fix it? You work here." "Hey, all I do is work in a power company. How could I possibly get your power back on?" So yeah, that's one of the traditional Spanish things. One of the other Spanish traditions that a lot of people seem to like is, probably not here, but a lot of older Spanish people seem to like bullfighting. And I'm not really a fan of it. I mean, I've been to like a bullfighting ring. They basically just take the animal and they blind it, and then they torture it, and then they kill it. And I was thinking, like, if we're gonna just do sports like this, I had a new one. What I came with the idea is you can take a blind guy and just throw him in a room, and then you have the starting line of Real Madrid just start kicking him for 2 hours. It's basically the same effect as bullfighting, of beating a defenseless creature to death. I'm gonna be honest about it. I mean, that's why people go to it. "No, I go to bullfighting for the majestic spirit." No, you go to see someone fucking killed. Like, stop, moralize. "You Americans are so brutal. We just like to see an animal gored in public." Ooh, we got a good one. It's 7 of them in a row. It's even more disturbing. So we got some stuff in common here tonight. One of the things that I think a lot of cultures have in common, well, at least I've noticed, is a lot of us in school, our teachers tell us a lot of very similar stories. One of the favorite ones that I get, and I discovered from talking to a lot of friends, I got some Irish friends, some Spanish friends, there's always a story when we're in science class about the human adrenaline system, about the human body. And there's always like, human adrenaline can change the body. It can make you super strong. It can give a mother the ability to lift a car off of her child. Now, apparently this happens in every continent, every country in the world. Apparently there's just fucking dumbass kids who get caught under cars. I don't know how this happens. I don't know if maybe like the mother hit the kid and now she's like trying to, like, "Oh shit, the cops are gonna come. They're gonna book me for abuse." "No, officer, I swear, he just collapsed with tire marks over there. I have no idea how it happened." Or the other one is always, there's like the car's on fire. Not just this general roof fire. There's always like these roof fires that seem to happen to cars. I don't know where these come from, but they're apparently incredibly common in science class. So there's always, and I always wondered, like, it's always mentioning, they always say very specifically, a mother is able to lift a flaming car off of her child. So I wonder if, like, she goes over and is just like, wait, "Are you of legal or blood relation to me?" "No, help me, oh God, I'm dying." Sorry. I mean, if we were related, I'd be able to save your life right now. But since we're not related, according to a 5th grade science teacher, I'm incapable of getting the strength to save you. So, one of the other things I noticed when I came here is, we got people here of all different mixed races, but some people are still bullshit with the prejudice. We always, and what's really weird is, right now in here, it's like in England, there's a lot of shit against Polish people, and in Spain right now, it's a lot against Chinese people, and we used to have this, like, these particular groups in America about 120 years ago, which just once again proves that Europe gets everything cultural about 30 years after the United States does. So, one of the things, though, is that every group gets a lot of shit. Like right now in America, a lot of people who are Arab or Persian get a lot of shit, different Muslim groups, but in the past it was all these different groups different groups got a lot of shit. But after immigration over time, they get more adapted into society. And so I can just imagine that like 20 years from now, my son's gonna come to me, and my son has no legs, he just walks on his knees. Daddy, I heard in school today that we used to not get along with the Muslim countries. Is that true? Yes, son, I know it's hard to believe, but we used to not be able to get along with the Muslim countries. But now, they respect our culture, and we respect their cultures, and we're able to get along. That's great, Daddy, but back when you were my age, what about the Brazilians? Well, you see, son, we didn't know what devious fucks they were yet. So, yeah, I don't know if you heard, in the United States, in the state of California, they recently launched a bear patrol, and over 30 bearded gay men were able to find employment afterwards. So yeah, so from that red, I'm actually, in case you can't tell from that joke, I support gay rights. I'm really happy that in the United States they defeated DOMA, so gay marriage is increasingly allowed. It's not totally allowed in the United States. Minnesota, so lots of good states. Yeah, it's always like, the progressive states don't have it. It's like Iowa, Minnesota, like all these Midwestern states are just like, fuck the coast, we're gonna let the gays get married. So, it's cool for them. And, no, I'm for it everywhere. But basically, if you're against it, there's one of two things. Either you're a closeted homosexual who's just trying to fight it, or you're an asshole. Those are really the only two reasons you have any legitimate reason to be against homosexuality. And the first one of closeted people, there's a lot of like Christians who get caught all the time with gay prostitutes. It's just fucking hilarious for me. But there's one politician, he's never gotten caught, but his name is Lindsey Graham. And he's from South Carolina, and he's against every gay rights measure you can think of, everyone that's ever existed. And Lindsey Graham is a gentleman from South Carolina who lives by himself, who's never been married, who's very devoted to his mother, and is firmly committed to the this is how he actually sounds, is firmly committed to the preservation of traditional marriage, and is against the sinful creation of homosexuality. The other reason, like I said, is an asshole is a guy named Antonin Scalia, who's one of the Supreme Court justices of the United States. And in his dissent of why they should have kept gay marriage illegal, he wrote, "I disapprove with this law, because in the name of tolerance, this law is officially being intolerant to those people who oppose sodomy. Not homosexuality, but fucking sodomy, like it's 1903.
Oh, fuck it.
Like, how homophobic do you have to be that you can't even say the word homosexual in an official document? So yeah, there's just a lot of stupid bastards walking around these days. Now, probably one of the best stupid bastards I read about was in a headline I read a couple weeks ago. And it had the headline, one of the greatest headlines I've ever read. Wild beaver bite proves fatal. Now, if you're me, you were immediately imagining a stripper kind of humping a guy at the neck fatally. Not what this article was about. Not what the article was about. It's about the animal, the beaver. So anyone who's not familiar, it's about a small, basically it's a rat with fur and two knives that are called teeth in the front of its face. And these are used to chop down trees. And basically, they're the animals you always see making dams. Now, a lot of cartoon directors think that they're really funny. In America, we like having them in cartoons. There's like the Mighty Beavers and all sorts of stupid cartoons. Now, most of us understand that cartoons are not reality. When I was a kid, one of my favorite movies was The Lion King. I loved it. But I also understood that a lion saw me as a steak that was running with very interesting rapping. It did not see me as something that it wanted to sing a song with and discuss the future. But this gentleman did not apparently understand that with a beaver. So he decided to pick it up by the tail while it was asleep to take a photo of this with his friends. At which point it bit him in the carotid artery, oddly enough, fatally. So yes, I'm glad to leave you guys in laugh. My name is Shawn Barron. Thank you very much, and have a good night.